Hello, eavesdroppers, and welcome back to another pop culture tarot reading. I hope you all are feeling like $1,000,000. On today's episode, we are going to look into the situation going on with the wild horses. There's a lot being said about the population control that is going on with the wild horses under the order of Donald Trump and the sitting political power right now. They don't allow to round up a lot of the wild horses, and they're saying that they are rehoming them. But there are people speculating that these horses are actually suffering a different kind of fate and maybe even being used as a substitute for overpriced beef. Okay, now I don't know how true that is. Everything I say in this reading is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. But based on some of these cards that I have pulled in front of me, Spirit is definitely telling us that what they're saying is not actually true. We have the Seven of Swords here, and this is some kind of trickster energy, a strategist, resourcefulness, fake news. Okay, this is fake news, saying that they are untrustworthy and they are being sneaky, liars, cheating, selfish, betraying, and some kind of corruption is going on regarding these horses being rounded up. Spirit is saying we have to get to the nitty-gritty. What is going on at the heart of the matter? What is the bottom line here? Because there's a bigger bottom line. So I did a little bit of research and I found out that the wild horses are actually very important to the ecosystem in America. Not only that, but they hold a lot of sentimental value to the native people here, the indigenous people here. The wild horses are very significant in the vegetation, keeping down vegetation, fires, and also they help with the water system. And you know, there's been a lot of talk about the water system with the AI supposedly using up a lot of the water here and a lot of the lakes and the different local water that even in Denver, where that water in Colorado supplies a lot of water to seven different states, I believe. And like it's gone. The water is just disappearing. And I believe it's being funneled underground. But that's just my opinion. I don't have any proof of that. I just strongly believe that that's what it is. I don't think it's the AI that is using up the water. I think that's a cover. But whatever the case, the horses are actually very instrumental in, keeping the water flowing right and the ecosystem here. So based on these cards, like I said, it does feel like they are almost attacking Mother Nature. We have the Empress here, Taurus and Libra energy, which represents Mother Earth. We have the Sun and the Empress in reverse, which is the termination of life. Okay. It feels like an attack on nature, Mother Nature. Five of Swords is here as well. This is some kind of aggressive intimidation, bullying energy, a hostile takeover, ruthlessness, self-sabotage. So it's almost like they're sabotaging the earth intentionally. Spirit is saying it's a big mistake. Okay, we have the Three of Wands on the table. The Three of Wands is about gaining momentum, travel, building blocks, growth, expansion, anticipation, picking up where you left off. But it's important to note that this is also about patiently waiting for your ships to come in. I strongly feel like we, as the American people, we're just sitting here patiently waiting for some kind of resolve to this. And there is not going to be a resolve. This is not going to turn out well if we don't get ahead of this as the American people. There's suppression here. I have a card that says suppression. But it says also that this is a positive 7th house change, which is a profound shift in how we relate to others, a period of deep personal growth through partnerships, marriage, business, contracts, one-on-one dynamics, activation of fresh starts, healthier boundaries, or a new romantic relationship. Every time I do these readings, these world readings, these political readings, I get a strong feeling that we're going through a shift that's going to be uncomfortable before it gets better. I strongly feel like that. But I also feel that this feels like an attack on Mother Nature. And Mother Nature will absolutely fight back. But let's get some more cards here. So when it comes to the wild horses, rounding up the wild horses, what is behind that? We have the Knight of Cups riding on a white horse. Wow. Okay, now the Knight of Cups is actually one of the 4 horses of the apocalypse. Okay, so again, I feel like this is a positive change. It's just a change that's going to be ugly before it gets better. Somehow, love and relationships will be the way to counteract this with this positive seventh house chain and a Knight of Cups, which is about our emotional relationships, our own emotions, romantic feelings. I strongly feel like this is it's a part of the process. Like I said, it feels more uncomfortable in the beginning, but it's always worse before it gets better. Okay, let's see more. I believe the Knight of Cups is connected to pestilence. And pestilence is the onslaught of a bunch of bad food and no, I'm sorry. That's the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Cups is pestilence. It's about sickness. It's about different ailments. And so they seem to have some kind of strategy here to make the American people sick. And I guess it has something to do with the vegetation, which is why they are targeting the wild horses. They're saying there's an overpopulation, but I strongly don't believe that's what it is. Let's keep going. Okay, we have the Page of Cups here. We have the Eight of Wands. I strongly feel like this is them pretending to be innocent. We have the Seven of Swords on the table. Page of Cups is a card of innocence and naivete. I feel like this is them taking advantage of the fact that we are not in the know, even though some people are pushing that. This Eight of Wands could actually imply that there is an overpopulation. Let me clarify that. Yeah, we have the Nine of Wands here. It may actually be true that there is an overpopulation of these wild horses. However, are they being used for meat? Are they going to be used for a substitute for meat? You have the King of Pentacles. That will be a yes. You have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords will be a no. Now, that could actually represent paranoia, people jumping to conclusions. So it may be possible that they're not actually using the wild horses for meat and that they actually are getting rid of them more because they want to destroy the vegetation. It almost feels like they're trying to destroy the earth. It doesn't almost feel like, it feels like they are destroying the earth, especially America. They're targeting this country right now. Why are they doing this? We have the Ace of Wands reversed. Show me more. That's about vitality, but it's reversed. We have the Six of Wands. So this is just a pride thing. So I strongly feel like, not to sound conspiratorial, but I have a big inclination in these cards that the power that should not be the government, those in charge of making these decisions, I strongly feel that we are nearing the 11th hour. We are in the 11th hour of something major coming to the planet. I strongly believe that even this Eight of Wands looks like a lot of these wands are flying right to Earth. And I feel like there's something that they know. I feel like it's not just about depopulating the horses. I think it's about depopulation in general. Okay, let's see more. I feel like they only want certain people here. I feel like this is definitely some kind of major depopulation. We have the Hierophant. That's the government. We have the Magician. Yeah, this feels like sleight of hand. This feels like some kind of illusion that they're pulling over the eyes of the masses. Yeah, we have the Tower at the bottom of the deck and the World card. Yes, exactly. So they're trying to destroy the world like I just said. And we have the King of Swords here. That could be Donald Trump, air sign energy, sitting in a seat of power. It strongly feels like this is a concerted effort to destroy people. And yes, some of the vegetation, some of the animals, because when you start tampering with the ecosystem, which we already know, the bees are like going extinct and we cannot live without bees. And now they're targeting these wild horses that are very instrumental to the American people and the vegetation here. So I strongly feel like this has something to do with an actual plot they call it a culling, Culling, which is about order that comes out of chaos. So they're trying to create chaos here. I'm not going to make this too long. I just wanted to see if I was picking up on the right energy just intuitively, and I think I am. This is definitely a power play. This is very intentional, and I'm going to say allegedly, but our best bet is to, as the American people, we have to stand up, we have to unite, and we have to fight against this. We have to. We have to find a way to combat this. We can't just allow them to keep doing things to us and we sit back passively. Because if we do, we have another horse here with the Six of Wands, these two white horses. And when I think of the white horse, I think of the pale horse. And we know what the pale horse represents when it comes to, end of world prophecy. So I strongly feel like this is a man-made end of the world prophecy, but that's what they're trying to do. The tower going into the world is destruction of the world, destruction of the earth, destruction of the land. And it's being made by these people, the Hierophant, the government, the magician, these people who are occultists, who are practitioners, who are dealing in dark magic. Yep. So that's what I see. I strongly believe that they may or may not be using it to replace the beef. I got a no for that, and I got a yes for that. King of Pentacles is the one that sits over the domain of the earth, so it is possible, and it could be that it's possible in certain areas and not possible in other areas. That could be what it is. We got a yes and a no. I mean, I do see possibly a lot of conspiracy theories about it. That may or may not be true, but when it comes to everything else, I strongly feel like this is we are in the 11th hour, and this is a power play by the powers that shouldn't be. All right, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode.